nation. And this is the protest from the region where Green Revolution took place, particularly in Punjab, Haryana, that is the northern part of the India. And farmers have been demanding minimum support price for the produce so that in the market when they go with their produce, they get at least minimum of what they have really been expecting or they have spent while producing these crops. And particularly these crops are the rice and wheat. And this is the region which is considered as our food bowl and which is having extra produce. In other states, there is not that much of extra produce to be provided to this central reserve that government is otherwise maintaining for food security, as well as for supply through the national food distribution system. So they have been demanding this, and there had been a commission earlier under Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, and Swaminathan had given recommendation that minimum support price plus 50% at cost 2. Cost 2 means whatever cost is on the inputs and then on the labor, but also the family labor and the value or rent of the land, which otherwise is also being maintained by the farmers, as well as the credit interest, if there is any credit farmer has taken. So these should also be taken into account. Government had agreed to this condition, and somehow farmers are feeling that they are still not getting what they should, and in the market when they go, they have to sell this at a lower price. And the cost on inputs has gone up. It is same situation like in Europe, whether it is fuel, electricity, fertilizer, and also on pesticides. And then the soil health is also deteriorating over the years. Water table is going down, and therefore there are compounded, the effects of it. It is the same situation as you have there with regard to volatility, uncertainty, and also instability.
Yeah, I think you've sort of touched on this already, but what do you think are some of the main challenges that farmers are facing right now that's driving them to protest?
The main challenge is actually they have been demanding this for last almost 3 years now. Earlier they had also demanded it, and they had sat on protest for almost more than 15 months. They were on the roads along with all their, people around and the tractors and food, and they were sitting on the road itself. And that time government had in fact enacted 3 laws, and farmers protested against those. Farmers felt that possibly those were not in their favor, so they protested and government withdrew those laws. But at that time this condition of MSP was also there, and then government constituted a committee to look into MSP, how to make it more effective and transparent. But it seems farmers are not happy with any outcome yet, and the committee has not given its report, though it has been meeting frequently. And then government's view is that now the farmers must diversify because of the soil health problem, the sustainability issue, then also to conserve natural resources and use less of inputs and increase productivity. And diversification, therefore, is an issue which is being discussed. And farmers do feel that this diversification is not yet so secure as present cropping system is. So there has to be some kind of, again, assurance in terms of that once they switch over, then the returns would be almost same or similar. And so there are differences of views there. Uh, some demands are also to waive off their loans, and which is not rather a good practice, but in the past it had been done. So once you have the taste of it, you would always demand for it. And so these are some of the issues currently.
Yes. So the election is obviously just around the corner. What do you think the significance of these protests happening now could potentially have on the upcoming election?
Well, I don't know whether it will have effect on elections. It again would depend how situation, whether it continues or it is going to be resolved. Because there are negotiations going on and alternatives are being proposed. And now it depends how much trust is there on both sides and how much give and take is there on both sides. And no doubt, but some solution will have to be found early. If it is not there, I don't know, maybe it may take longer. And the elections are on the corner, uh, likely to be in another 2 months. So I hope this protest this time is not as long as it was last time. So hopefully this is resolved, and expectation is that possibly there would be, because the procurement government has been doing in the past. Minimum support price is not today's demand. It is already existing since 1965. We have the scheme of MSP, which was started when Green Revolution took place. And at that time, there was a thinking that government must procure and have some buffer stock uh, to ensure the security of food all the year round, and whenever it is needed, then it is available. So we have been having a reserve of, uh, to begin with, around 20 to 25 million tons, and then it also went as high as almost 50 to 70 million tons. And currently it is around again 40 million tons. And so you require this as a buffer for ensuring that there is no such uncertainty and feeling, or once the farm market people know that there is shortage, then there can be hoarding, and the prices can go up, and government is concerned about reducing the cost for the consumers as well. So the balance has to be taken. So this is going on, and government has been spending, I think, by procuring about 6 to almost 10% of the food grain produce in the past. And but the issue is that farmers now want a legal guarantee for it. The practice is there, but the issue is of, so now it all depends how the good sense prevails to resolve and have better understanding of both sides.
You mentioned earlier as well, obviously, huge protests have been happening in Europe, farmer protests. Do you see big similarities between the two protests, or do you think they're very different?
I think the similarity is there to a greater extent in terms of return uh, for the investment that farmers are making. And there also returns are now not that better. And also the assurances by the government now to make sure that we adhere to Paris Agreement and address climate change concerns. So from agriculture, whatever greenhouse gas emission is there has to be also uh, balanced through carbon sequestration. And like in Wales, they have decided that 20% of the land farmers will have to set aside, 10% for tree planting, and 10% for, I think, wildlife mm, reserve, etc. So farmers feel that this is perhaps rather too much. All of a sudden, the pressure is then building there. Similarly, the price of, I think in Spain, because of the price crash and lack of support for olive oil, farmers are there also, they are going same way as here in tractors in Madrid. Possibly more than 500 tractors had entered in the downtown, and here also farmers are sitting with tractors at the border wanting to come to Delhi, the capital, and they have been stopped at the border of Punjab, and in between there is a state called Haryana. So they are at the Haryana-Punjab border, and they are deciding their strategy, whether to come and how to reach, because unless they come to capital, possibly their demand by the policymakers may not be taken that seriously. So that may be the reason for them. And government thinks that there is no need for them to come.